Bergen on the following Sunday.
From that day forward, the fate of the wild goose was sealed. It was pronounced a haunted house and avoided accordingly.
No one inhabited it, but Vanderscamp's shrew of a widow.
And no Pluto, and they were considered a little better than its hobgoblin visitors.
More and more haggard and morose. He looked more like an imp of darkness than a human being. He went about muttering to himself, or as some hinted, was speaking to the devil, though unseen, was ever at his elbow.
Now and then he was seen pulling about the bay in his skiff, alone, in dark weather, or at the approach of nightfall.
Nobody could tell why, unless on an errand to invite more guests from the gallows.
Indeed, it was affirmed that the Wild Goose continued to be a house of entertainment for such guests, and that on stormy nights, the Blue Chamber was occasionally illuminated, and the sounds of diabolical merriment were overheard mingling with the howling of the tempest.
Some treated these as idle stories until one night, around the time of the equinox,
There was a horrible uproar in the Wild Goose, which could not be mistaken. It was not so much the sound of revelry, however, as strife.
The 2 or 3 piercing shrieks that pervaded every part of the village. Nevertheless, no one thought of hastening to the spot.
On the contrary, the honest burghers of Communipaw drew their nightcaps over their ears and buried their heads under their bedclothes at the thought of Vanderscamp and his gallows companions.
The next morning, some of the bolder and more curious undertook to reconnoiter. All was quiet and lifeless at the Wild Goose. The door yawned wide open, and had evidently been open all night, for the storm had beaten into the house.
Gathering more courage from the silence and apparent desertion, they gradually ventured over the threshold.
The house had indeed the air of having been possessed by devils. Everything was topsy-turvy.
Trunks had been broken open. Chests of drawers and corner cupboards turned inside out, as in a time of general sack and pillage.
But the most woeful sight was the widow of Janos Vanderscamp, extended a corpse on the floor with the marks of a deadly gripe on the windpipe.
All now was conjecture and dismay at Communipaw, and the disappearance of old Pluto, who was nowhere to be found, gave rise to all kinds of wild surmises.
Some suggested that the Negro had betrayed the house to some of Vanderscamp's buccaneering associates, and that they had decamped together with the booty. Others surmised that the Negro was nothing more nor less than a devil incarnate, who had accomplished his ends and made off with his dues.
Events, however, vindicated the Negro of this last imputation. His skiff was picked up, drifting about the bay, bottom upward as it wrecked in a tempest, and his body was found by my guests from Gibbet Island.
I met you earlier.